Hermitage project, Warren. I hear antimony means higher grade, but tell us about it.
Look, I mean, the Hermitage project, to be fair, is Crispin's baby. So
Okay.
soon after Crispin joined, I introduced him to the Cape Ray project, and I said, now, if there was anywhere else on the island that you would want to go and pick up ground, where would you go? And he didn't hesitate. I barely got the sentence finished, and he said, this is the ground that we want. So we literally jumped online. I think probably within a couple of days of having that conversation, we were online and pegging the ground. It was open ground. I'll let Crispin tell you why we like it, but certainly what caught my eye was this is a major structure, not unlike the Cape Ray Shear. It swings down and around the island. It bounds two completely different separate sets of rocks. It's an anomaly at the scale of the island because it's the only structure that cuts northwest across the island. Everything else trends northeast. And this is a major structure that bends around, and we really like structures that are anomalous in terms of their orientation. It's also anomalous in terms of it's got one of the largest arsenic and antimony anomalies, both in terms of size and in terms of tenor of arsenic and antimony anywhere on the island. And that structure, the Hermitage structure, as it bends around, runs north through Newfound Gold's and Lab Gold's ground as well, where we're hearing all these fantastic stories of super high grade, broad intersections, also associated with similar pathfinder elements, the arsenic and antimony. So I'll let Crispin just talk a little bit more about the Hermitage project as a whole.
Yes, and Warren, covered off on the main aspects of this target. As he mentioned, it's an anomalous orientation. It's the largest antimony anomaly from a regional perspective on the island. There is a producing antimony mine very close to a lot of the big gold showings in the eastern portion of the province. And this anomaly is substantially larger than right next to the antimony mine that's in production. It's a monster of a geochem anomaly, and it's coincident with this anomalous strike. What's interesting is that, when this geochem anomaly was identified in the late 70s, the base metal guys went in there looking for gold, Teck, Inco, and Falconbridge. They did some early soil sampling in the area and reproduced these large geochemical anomalies, but never drilled a hole. And there's very little outcrop in this area. There's approximately 20 meters of cover over a large portion of this ground, which is a lot for Newfoundland. It's not a lot for you guys in Australia. So that's one of the reasons that it hasn't seen substantial work, because of the cover. But this is a belt in itself. This is a new belt in itself. And, I think the methodologies of kind of drilling down through the cover, taking a sample systematically on a grid, like you guys would do with RC drilling or RAV drilling, we need to replicate that here in the Hermitage project. And, I was really surprised that it was never picked up. The ground, we just pegged the ground at very extremely low costs. It was great value add to Matador, and yeah, we just got to go in there and do the work now. So we're working on a work plan for Hermitage for 2023.
Optimistically, blue sky talking, crystal ball talking, do you see this as a second tier for Matador, or this potentially could be a first tier project for Matador?
The Cape Ray Shear Zone has a lot of potential, and Hermitage has a lot of potential, as well. We obviously need to rationalize, how we spend our capital raised from our shareholders. We need to prioritize these targets against each other. So I think, Cape Ray is further along. We have that framework. So we need to do the early work to meet those hurdles. The next big hurdle in Hermitage is to get gold in outcrop, to get gold in the ground. So before we go too far, we want to meet those hurdles.